Let's have a look now at creating blocks. Now, what we're going to look at here are these objects here. I've got a rectangle and two circles. That's my widget in this particular design. And we're going to create a block called widget from those objects. Now, have a look at the objects. They're not on the current layer, the block layer. What they're actually on, if you click on it, they're on layer 0. Now, there's a reason for that. If you create a block on layer 0, what will happen is it will automatically adopt the current drafting layer when you insert the block into the drawing. So let's have a look at that now. What we'll also do, we'll make a block of this group of objects here shortly as well. So let's create a block of our widget first, and then this is our case here. This is our casing. So we're going to create a block here. Now, to create a block, you've got the block panel here on the Home tab, and there's Create right there. You've also got on the Insert tab here, you've also got a block panel here, where you can insert, create, and also go into the block editor to start looking at dynamic blocks. Now, we're not going to look at dynamic blocks in this particular course. However, if you do want to refer to dynamic blocks, you can go to the VTC titles, AutoCAD 2010, Basic 2D Concepts. There's also an Intermediate Concepts and an Advanced Concepts. Let's have a look now at our block. I'm going to go to Create. So there's my dialog box there. Now we're going to call this a widget. Now I normally put my blocks in capitals, just a habit I've gotten into over the years. It's up to you. You can do them in lowercase if you wish. Now we need to specify a base point of our widget. So I'm going to use the pick point button here because I don't know the exact X, Y, and Z coordinates of a corner or a center snap of my widget. So I use pick point. I utilize my object snaps, and I'm going to set that center snap as the insertion point. So now, as you can see, there's no way I could have guessed those X and Y values. So now I have to select the objects that make up my block. I've got three options. I can delete the originals, convert the originals to a block, or retain the original objects. I'm going to utilize delete, and you'll see why in a moment. Select objects now by clicking here. I select the objects. Rectangle, circle, circle. Notice I picked on all three of those. I could, if I wanted to, left click and drag, do a crossing selection. Notice on the command line there it's telling me I've got 3 duplicate objects. It won't actually put all 6 objects together, it will just do the 3 originals. Right click to confirm. There's my 3 objects selected, and I've got the delete option set. Now the behavior of my block: annotative, scale uniformly, or allow exploding. We're not going to make it annotative, but we are going to scale uniformly in the X and Y directions when the block is scaled. We're also going to allow exploding. When you explode a block, it explodes it back into its original objects. That way you can explode a block, make some small changes, perhaps create a different block, a revision B or a revision 2 of that block. Now in this particular drawing our block unit is in millimeters. We can add a hyperlink if we want to, perhaps to a specification or a bill of quantities. I'm also going to open it in the block editor, just to show you what the block editor does. When I OK that now, the block editor will kick in. Now the block editor allows you to make this into a dynamic block. We're not going to make any dynamic blocks, but you would utilize your block authoring palettes here to make it into a dynamic block. Notice as well, the block editor tab appears on the ribbon, and there's all your block editing tools here. I'm not going to make any changes, so I'm just going to click on close, like so. No changes were made, so I didn't need to save any changes there. So that block has disappeared. But now, if I go Home tab, make sure I'm on my block layer here, which is a different color, and then go Insert Block here, or I could go Insert on the Insert button here on the Insert tab. Either will do. What I need to find now is the actual block. There's my widget block there. Gives you a preview of it. Insertion point. I'm going to specify that on the screen. I'm not going to type in X, Y, and Z values. Scale. Well, let's have a look at scale. Let's make it twice as big. Rotation. Let's put it through 90 degrees. So I'm going to rotate it through 90 degrees. It will be twice as big. It'll also be on the current drafting layer because I created it on layer 0. So I click on OK, twice as big and rotated through 90 degrees. There we go. Fantastic. I can make my blocks bigger and smaller. I've got my base block there. I can rotate it and so on. But look, if I now insert a block again, it remembers those settings, or does it? No, it doesn't. Remembers that one, but the scale always defaults to 1. Remember that. I'm going to insert that at an angle of 0 now, a normal scale, 1. When I OK it, it adopts the current layer, but look, it's a very different object. So your blocks allow for what they call content reuse. You can reuse these blocks over and over again, and change them over and over again by bringing them into the drawing.